The Gatha begins by saying at one time there lived a parivar. Parivar means what? A family. In this family, they were very, very poor. This evening, what makes us rich? What makes us rich? You know what makes us rich? Learning to follow instructions. That makes us rich. You know what makes us rich? Learning how to be humble and simple and sincere. That's what makes us rich. You know what makes us rich? Having good health. Having eyes we could see, and nostrils we could breathe, and ears we could hear, and a mouth we could talk. Oh God, we could talk. Not necessarily because we have anything good to say, no. But because we have nothing else to do. So we talk. I say to the group all the time, and they look at me and they know I really stand by this. There is a time to play and there is a time to pray. In the praying time, no playing should happen. And in the playing time, do whatever you want. But still find some time to pray, even when you are playing. This family, they were very, very poor. And they lived in a thatched hut, in a thatched house. Can you remember in time gone by where everybody lived in a lipe house? Where everybody lived in a carrot shed? You all could remember? Now we call it a carrot shed. In time gone by, it was a carrot home. In time gone by, everybody's bed had something hanging over it called a chandini. You all remember? So that nothing from the roof will fall onto the bed and bite you at night time when you are sleeping. In 2018, we no longer call it a chandini. In 2018, we call it a valance. We give it a brand new name. We give it an elegant name, a valance. Long ago, when we were to have the puja and the yajna, over the place where the puja will take place, a chandani will be hung. And the ladies will take pride in sewing the chandani and they'll put a beautiful frill and, you know. Some people, when they have their puja at home, they will make a chandani and sew the frill. Exactly what we put into the puja is what we will get out of it. Always remember that. What we put into it is what we will get out of it. We sit down there and we say, oh God, when did it go done? And it now starts. We sit down and we look at the watch and we say, how long again? Well, I'm sorry for you, it's 2 hours again. They lived this parivar, this family, and they were very, very poor. And they belonged to the Kshatri clan, the fighting clan. But being very, very poor, what will happen? They were very, very happy. What makes us happy? Can money make you happy? More money you have, more headache you have. Big house make you happy? Bigger the house, bigger the headache. What makes you happy? Too much clothes? The more clothes you have, more trouble you have. You don't know what to wear. You can't even remember what you wore yesterday, much less to think about what you'll wear today. And the people who have little or nothing, you see them smiling all the time and happy all the time. Because you know why? The less you have, the less trouble you see. Is that true or not? No answer. Tonight, belonging to this clan and being very, very poor, what will happen? Husband and wife, though they were very poor, they shared a very loving relationship. Wife, do you share loving relationship with your husband? Husband, do you share loving relationship with your wife? No answer. I see all different kind of face. I see all different kind of expression this evening. Baba, well, there was a time when we were really in love, and I don't know what happened. Dharma says you don't love, you grow to love. Every day that goes by, you learn to love a little more and a little more and a little more. I always say don't fall in love. Anything you fall into, you could fall out of. Anything you fall into, you could fall out of. Don't fall in love, grow to love. 2018, we say we love no more, we like and we prefer. They shared a very loving relationship with each other, though they were very poor. And so sharing this very loving relationship, husband worked as hard as he could to provide for his wife and for his family. He worked as hard as he could. And he did whatever was possible to make his wife happy. Husband, can you make your wife happy? Baba, sometime. It is impossible to make her happy all the time. Marriage is not only based on love, but marriage is based on compromise as well. Marriage is based on compromise as well. Learning how to compromise. Learning how to make the best of the worst. Learning how to accept the best out of the worst that will be dished out to you. And so sharing this very loving relationship, he worked very hard. But working very hard, what will happen? Listen, it tells us, ek din, one day, as this husband left his home, kam karnehi, to perform his work, leaving and going to perform his duty, what will happen? Wife is left home alone. Wife, when you are left home alone, what do? When husband goes to work, what do? Listen to what she does in the absence of a husband. It says, as a husband left and he went to work, it says she showered very quickly and she made her way to the altar. And she started saying her prayers. Saying her prayers, she said it in her mind. Not a single word was coming out of her mouth. And she was just gazing at her murtis. 99% of the time, we make all preparations for prayers. But when the actual time of the puja comes, God is the furthest thing from our mind. True or not? Is that true or not? You can't concentrate. You can't think. God is the furthest thing from your mind. You're thinking about, do we have enough food? You're thinking, did I put enough sugar in the parsad? You're thinking, can they find the parsad bag? And you're thinking all different kinds of thoughts. All different things go through your mind. Staring at her altar, she prayed in her mind. Thank God nobody could see what is going through her mind. Thank God nobody could know what you're thinking. You know, much people stand up in front of you and you think they're rare like you. And in their mind they say, oh God, if you only know. They hug you up and they kiss you. And they look at you, kuchi kuchi ku. I rare like you, you know. And in their mind they say, I squeeze you and choke you, you know. Looking and gazing at her altar, she said no words. She thought, she prayed in her mind. But there was one thing she knew very well, the arti. The arti was dedicated to Guru, and she had learned this arti. And after she was finished saying her prayers, after finishing her pratna in her mind, she was waving her arti and walking through the entire home. Do we pass the arti through our home only when we have a puja? Do we pass the arti through our home only on Diwali night? When should we pass the arti through our home? Do you know that it's a very good practice to light the agarbatti and pass it through the house all the time? Every day. It is a good practice. In time gone by, the old people will get a dhoop dani. You all know what is that? A dhoop dani? Well, we say a havan kund now. They call it a dhoop dani, a fire pot. And they will put the gugul and they will put the neem leaves and they will put the pitch pine and they will make some smoke and pass it through the whole house. You all know? Have you ever done that before? So that the entire home will be purified. So that all negativity will leave. This evening, she begins to wave her arti. She is singing the only bhajan that she knows. And waving her arti, she is walking through her entire home. And while waving her arti, what will happen? This is what she is singing. She was saying to God, may you bless my husband. May you bless my husband. For today is his Janma Din. Janma means what? Janma means today is his Janma Din, his birthday. Why? Do you pray for your husband? What kind of prayer do you pray? I say, and it sounded like a joke. We were doing a satsang for a couple who was celebrating their anniversary. And I said to husband, husband, do you pray? He said, no, my wife pray enough for both of us. I look at her, I say, do you pray for your husband? She said, every day. I say, what do you pray for? She said, I can't tell you. I said, no, please tell me, I want to know. She said, I can't tell you. I said, no, but I insist, you must tell me, what do you pray for? She said, I pray every single day, God send a lightning, strike him down. When you think somebody is saying a genuine prayer for you, to help you, they might be saying a genuine prayer to crush you. That's why it is important for us to identify that the best person to pray for you is who should pray for you? Our pundits could show us how to pray. They could teach us how to pray. But can they really pray for us? Waving heart, she says, is my husband's janma. And so, Bhagwan, may you bless him with light, and may you bless him with prosperity, and may you bless him with happiness. And while waving the arti, what will happen? Something happens, listen. At that very same time, while she was waving her arti, Narad Muni was in the heavens and he was begging God, Bhagwan Vishnu. He says, oh Lord Vishnu, please send me. I want to go down on the earth. I want to go and I want to go down on the earth. And Narad Muni was bringing this prayer to Bhagwan Vishnu. And at that time, while she was waving her arti, Bhagwan Vishnu gave permission to Narad Muni. And as Narad Muni reached down on the earth, the first thing Narad Muni heard was the arti, the bhajan being sung. And it caught the attention of Narad. What catches our attention? What catches our attention? You walk into the Indian Expo and anything shiny catches your attention. True or not? Disco Dunia. You walk into the jewelry shop and they have lights everywhere and they know how to put the lights so that the little stone will dance in your eye. And immediately you'll say, I want. Immediately your eye says to you, I want. True or not? The person who has the grocery knows exactly what to put on his shelf close to the cash register. You know why? Because from the time the children stand by that register and they see the chewing gum, they say, Mommy, chewing gum. Mommy say no. They say, well then, Mommy, chocolate. Mommy say no. And then they say, Mommy, well, there is a fridge. I want something to drink. By every cash register now, you find a little fridge with something to drink. And it's called impulse. They act on your impulse. You see, you don't want to know, but you want. You don't want, but you want. You say, I didn't drink no water for the day, so let me just take up a water. And you don't want it, but you're drinking it. Narad Muni landed down on the earth at that time when she was waving her arti. And Narad Muni, his attention was caught. And Narad Muni decided, I will go to this home. I will go to this home. We find joy and pleasure in going into some people's home. And when some people invite you, you think twice before you go. True or not? Don't lie when you're impressed. Talk the truth. Talk the truth. Recently, we were doing a satsang. And in the middle of this satsang, the rain was pouring and the group was there. And in the middle of this satsang, I feel something lick me behind my neck. And when I turn around, it's a big dog. And they looked at me and they said, don't worry, he wouldn't bite you. And in my mind, I said, why? He have no teeth? And he left me and he went to the drummer. And every time the drummer moves his hand, the dog taking his foot and hitting and as though he's licking the hand of the drummer. And in my mind, I said, better you than me. There is a time for everything. There is a place for everything. Some people love to have the animals inside. No problem. That animal probably has very good karma. But keeping the animal inside, then you have sinus. Your eyes swell up and you don't even know why it swell up. You're blaming everything. You see, somebody do you something because your eyes swell up. And this time is dog hair inside your eye. Because the dog rolling in your bed more than you. I don't know about you, I was grown up in a house where the dog remains outside, and if you want to bring the dog inside, you stay outside too. I was grown up in a home where they taught us that if you bring the pet and you cannot look after the pet, then we will give it away. Because you're not going to suffer the animal. Now I can identify that if we suffer the animal, it's our own karma. In our next life, somebody will suffer us. So now I don't buy 5 pounds of parrot seed, I buy 100 pounds of parrot seed. And I don't put a little bit, I put plenty. And I don't say what you didn't eat this morning, you will eat this evening. I throw it out and I put new one. Because I know in my next life, if I'm the parrot, I want good seed. Narad Muni heard this singing and it caught his attention. What catches our attention? It is so easy for our mind to stray. It is so easy for us to lose focus. And Narad Muni, standing there, Narad Muni waited until she came out. And so after performing her pratna, after a while she came outside and she met with Narad Muni. Seeing him, she recognized him to be a divine being. I want you to do me a favor. Look at the person next to you. Take a minute to look at the person next to you. Is that a divine being? Are you seeing God in that person next to you? Well, I see some of you bawling, oh God. Are you seeing God in the person next to you? Well, Baba, she have on she orni and she lipstick and things. She looking just like a Devi. But earlier today, I saw a different side of that Devi. Earlier today, her behavior did not befit the Devi. But now she's looking like Devi. Narad Muni, seeing her, what will he do? Narad Muni does something. Listen, the Katha tells us. Seeing Narad Muni, she recognized him to be a divine being. She recognized him to be holy. She recognized him to be an embodiment of Bhagwan, God. And so with no hesitation, she invited Narad Muni to come into her home. She got so anxious and she got so flustered. She invited Narad Muni to come and sit, and she made no place for him to sit down. The ground was freshly leaped, and so it was muddy, and she offered Narad Muni to sit on the muddy floor, on the freshly leaped floor. This evening, what if you came here and there were no chairs, and the place was leaped with gobar and mud, and we said to you, sit on the ground. What you'll do? What you'll do? You say, well, I remember where I come from, so I go in right back. I remember the directions to go back home, so I'm not sitting on the floor with my new clothes. We go out and we're dressed up, and some mud touches your shoes, and for the entire function, you're uncomfortable, and nobody's seeing your shoes, you know. But your mind is you're so conscious that all you're thinking is shoes, shoes, shoes. And then, eventually, you introduce everybody to the mud on your shoes. You say, well, I am moving plenty, because my shoes have mud. And if you didn't tell them, they would not know. If you didn't say, nobody will know. You say, well, I am moving too much, because this stuff kind of tight. And when I turn a little bit, it rip. So it have a little hole. But no, that little hole become a big hole when everybody find out. But when nobody knew, it was very small. That's teaching us the less people know about us, the better it is for us. The less people know your business, the better it is for you. And that's good advice. Actually, that's great advice. Ram, last night we spoke about Facebook and putting all your business on Facebook unnecessarily. And Narad Muni, he made no hesitation. He sat on the floor. And she looked at Narad and she says, I'm coming back now. I'm going into the kitchen and I'm preparing something for you now. I'm coming back. You ever dropped into somebody's house and they say, wait 2 minutes, I'm going to make the roti now and I'm coming back. And you'll eat a piece of hot roti before you go. And when you walk into the kitchen, they're now looking for the bowl to knead the flour. But the way it sounded is as though the flour is already kneaded and in a minute you'll get the roti. And then you see the effort they're putting into it, so you decide, well, I'll wait. She rushed in the kitchen and she started to prepare food for Narad Muni. And preparing food for Narad Muni, in a split second, she was done. She brought whatever she could bring. She gave it with so much of love, and she started to feed Narad Muni. And Narad Muni sat there enjoying the food. Have you ever gone to a function and you really enjoy the food? And you can't wait until they have a next function so you get more food? Because you love the way the food tastes? But food is not everything. Food is an integral part of every ceremony that we have as Hindus. The more spice and the more pepper and the more we put into the food, the more tamasic the food becomes. The more tamasic it becomes. Anytime people eat the food and they could be happy and contented with what they eat, you get a blessing. But anytime people eat the food and they have to fuss about the food all the time, you get a shrap. Better you don't feed anybody. And that too is good advice. When you're cooking for a group, you have to remember you're cooking for everybody. When you're cooking for yourself, you cook to suit you. But when you're cooking for a group, you have to think about everybody. You have the people who love plenty pepper, like me. And you have the people who like no pepper, like Diane. No pepper. Narad Muni sat there and Narad Muni enjoyed the food. And enjoying the food, Narad Muni was about to leave. And as Narad Muni was about to leave, listen, something happens. Narad Muni, he lifted his hand, and Narad Muni was about to utter some words. What will he say? Narad Muni was about to leave, and Narad Muni lifted his hand, and Narad Muni says, today I give a blessing, first to your Guru. I give a blessing, secondly, to your Mata. I give a blessing, thirdly, to your Pita, to your father. And she says, oh Narad, before you can even bless me, I want you to bless my Pati, my husband. It is his Janma. Bless him. And Narad Muni says, I bless your husband and I bless you. May your lives be enriched. She held on to the feet of Narad Muni and she started to cry, hearing the words of Narad. And she says, Narad, I have a problem. I have a problem. And she begins to tell her problem to Narad Muni. She says, Narad, I have a mother, I have a father, I have a husband, and I am present. But Narad, I have no Guru. Nay Guru. I have no Guru. Narad Muni, hearing her words, you know what Narad Muni did? Narad Muni took his finger and stuck it in his throat, and Narad Muni started to vomit all the food that she fed him. Narad Muni says, having no Guru, not I and not any Devata will eat from you or drink from you. Then why will you make this offering to me? You have offended me. She held on to the feet of Narad Muni and she started to cry. And she says, oh Narad, Chama, Chama, forgive me, I am begging you. And while she's begging for Chama, her husband walks in at the same time. He wonders what is taking place. He utters no words. And she looks at her husband and she says, I'm in trouble. There's some people, from the time you see them or you hear of them, you know he's trouble. You don't even have to think twice. You already know he's trouble. I'd have some people, when you see them, you know it's some good news and you know it's some good thing they're going to say to you. You know it's some joke they're going to make. You know, to have some people, they make a joke in the worst time. They're always making some crazy joke in the worst time. You know, one of my neighbor died and his son came across and they were very, very close. And his son says, well, you know, daddy died and so mommy is in a bad, bad state and so I want you to come and talk with her. The body is still at home and I want you to come. And I went across and I looked at her. She was crying and they came to take the body, and after they took the body, I looked at her, I say, so when you will stop crying? She said, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do without him. I don't know. And I looked at her, I said, do you know how he died? She said, no, I don't know. He just died. I said, well, I know how he died. She said, how? I said, well, the man stopped breathing. And all her crying stopped and she started to laugh. And her whole temperament changed from crying. And then she became a little more conscious and a little more active. And I said to her, anytime you think about crying, remember how he died. Remember what he died from. He died from stop breathing. Tonight, it is not about what the world could do for you, but tonight is about what you could do to make the world a better place. Tonight, you cannot change the world by yourself. I cannot change the world, and you cannot change the world. But we could change our approach. We could change the way we think and the way we behave with the beings of the world. You see somebody and you know that they're in trouble, hug them up, love them. But remember, hello, hi. Hello, hi. You know, anything you tell somebody, they will go back and make up something and say you didn't say. When you're in their company, learn how to take your finger and put it on your lip. When you're in their company, learn how to walk with a close clip in your bag. And pull it out and clip up your mouth. So if you didn't say anything, nobody could say you say anything. But we live in a time you didn't say nothing and they say you say. And people become angry because they hear you say, and they will never call you and ask you. They will remain angry with you because they hear. Sometimes the things we hear, they're just as fake as the people we're hearing it from. Actually, not sometimes, the majority of the time. And so, Narad Muni, she holds on to the feet of Narad Muni, and holding on to the feet of Narad, she says, Narad, will you accept me as your chela? Will you accept me as your follower? And Narad Muni gives to her the mantra, and Narad becomes her guru. She feels a sense of comfort, and she knows in her mind that the devatas in the heavens will become happy.